Good morning to all the students. In today's session, we are going to deal with some of the topics related to the trees concept. First thing is we are going to discuss the binary tree representations, which is a simple topic and which is important from the examination point of view also. After completing the discussion on this binary tree representations, we will go through the discussions on the expression trees. We will see what these expression trees are and why they are used and how can we traverse those expression trees and how can we construct the expression trees. All these things we will discuss, right? So we are going to deal only two topics, that is the binary tree representation and the second topic is the expression trees, right? So in yesterday's lecture we have seen the node numbering concept. So can anybody tell me what is the rule that you have to follow for node numbering?
Top to bottom and left to right, sir.
Right. So you should always start
Root node must
numbering
be
the
given one, sir.
yeah. You should always start numbering the nodes from top to bottom and from left to right. So these are the basic requirements for numbering the nodes in a binary tree. And one more important point that you should keep it in mind is the root is always given a number 1. Root is numbered as 1. Right. So keeping these points, the node numbering concept in mind, we will discuss the binary tree representations, right? So the binary tree representations means how we are going to represent the binary trees is dealt with two types. One is the array representation and the second one is the linked list representation, right? So there are two types of representations for the binary tree. The first one is the array representation and second one is the linked list representation. As the name specifies, the first one is we are going to represent the binary tree using arrays, and in the second representation we are going to represent the binary tree using the linked list. That's it, right? So we know the concept of arrays and we know the concept of linked lists. So the binary tree representation itself becomes very easy if you are aware of these arrays and linked list concept. So coming to the array representation, as I told that you need to represent the binary tree using the arrays, right? For example, let us take a small binary tree like this. So while this is the binary tree example that I have taken, and while you want to represent this binary tree using the array representation, you need to give the numbers for the nodes in the binary tree, right? So we need to use the concept of node numbering here. So what is the node number for 10? Since 10 is the root number, you always give the root number as 1, right? And what about the node number for 20?
2, sir.
2.
2, sir.
And this is 3 and this is 4 and this is 5. What about for 60?
7, sir.
It will be 7,
7,
not
sir.
6. Why? Because you assume a dummy node here and the dummy nodes are also given the node numbers, right? So that is how we need to represent it. So what about the 70?
8, sir.
8, sir.
What about 80?
11, sir.
11, sir.
11, right? So this is how the node numbering is used for this binary tree. And whenever you want to represent this binary tree inside an array, that means with an array, you will take an array like this. right? And we know very well that the arrays has the concept of indices. So the compiler automatically gives the index numbers for each and every location. What is the starting index number? It is 0, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, like this, right? So the correlation between these arrays and this node numbering is these index numbers represent the node numbers. So we will be considering the node numbers as the index numbers. So where I have to store this root node 10? What is the node number of 10?
1, sir.
1. Therefore you have to store the element inside the first index. So 10 is stored here. What about 20? You go for the index, you go for the node number of 20. It is 2. Therefore the 20 has to be stored inside index 2. And similarly 30 is stored at index 3, 40 is stored at index 4, 50 at index 5. And since there is no element or there is no node number that represents the sixth index, you just leave it blank. And 60 is stored at index 7, and 70 is stored at index 8, and then 9 and 10 are vacant, and 11 is having an index value of 80. So this is how you are going to represent the binary tree using the arrays, right? So first of all, for the given binary tree you have to give the node numbers, and once you are ready with the node numbers for the binary tree, then you have to allocate the array with sufficient memory locations, and the node number corresponds to the index for which you are going to store the information. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So let us go with the concept, this one. So this is the binary tree example I have taken, and as I told that you need to give the node numbers. So this node numbering is only useful whenever you are representing the binary tree using arrays, right? In linked list representation you are not going to use the node numbering concept. So that is the advantage we have with the linked list representation of the binary tree, and that is the most widely used representation for the binary tree, right? So we have one disadvantage with this arrays that we will discuss in the coming slides, but this is the example which I have taken for this binary tree. And since I want to represent the binary tree using the array representation, I should give the node numbering for each and every node in the binary tree. So this root node A is having the node number 1, and then B, C, like this I have given the node numbers. So I declare the array, and whatever node number is having for that particular node, I store that information inside the index part, inside that corresponding index of the array, right? So C is stored at 3, okay, and the right child of C, which is G, is stored at 7, right? Right. Yesterday also we have seen some properties regarding the node numbers. So if I is the node, what could be the left child number?
2i, sir.
2i. And what could be the right child number? It is 2i plus 1.
2i, sir.
Right. So the same thing will be applied here also, right? If you know the B, for example, I don't have this binary tree representation. I have represented using this array, and for example, if I want to find the left child of B, then you have to find the index of B, which is 2. So the left child, according to the node number properties, the left child is placed at 2i. Therefore 2 into 2, 4. Therefore the value that is stored inside this fourth index will be the left child, and the right child will be 2i plus 1. So the fifth node, the fifth index will be having the right child of B. So like that, when you represent the binary tree using arrays, you can easily find out the left child and the right child by using the properties of the node numbering. This one, right? So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So the array representation for the binary trees is a very simple concept where you will be using the trees, where you will be using the arrays to store the information part of the trees. But this has lot of advantages when the binary tree that you are going to represent is a full binary tree, or it is almost full binary tree, or if it is a proper binary tree. Like that, we have different types of trees. That means what I am going to tell you is, whenever you are going to represent a binary tree using the arrays, it will be beneficial only if the binary tree is either a full or proper or almost complete binary tree, right? So that is, for example, if we have some incomplete binary tree like this, right? Let us take this node, let us take this binary. So I have the binary tree as A, B and then C. B is having only the right child and C is having the only the right child. So in such case, if I want to store this binary tree, it is not complete, right? It is not full, it is an incomplete binary tree. In such case, if you start giving the node numbers for this binary tree, A will be having 1 and B is having 2, 3, C is having 3 and this is 5 and this is 7. So if you represent it using the binary or the array representation, so A will be occupying the first index, similarly B, C will be occupying the 2, 3 index respectively, and 4 and C 6 locations are vacant, right? For example, if you take this binary tree as an example and if you want to represent it using the array representation, so you can observe here that the nodes that are actually present are A, B and C, and if you give the node numbering for this binary tree, we have this 1, 3 and 7. So if you give the node numbering or if you represent it using the arrays, what is the size of the array you have declared?
8, sir.
8. But how many elements you are storing?
3, sir.
3, sir.
Only 3, right? So the remaining 5 elements are wasted. Since the array representation is the static memory representation, static memory allocation, there is probability of wastage of memory when the binary tree that you are representing using arrays is not full, right? So this is advantageous. That means this representation is advantageous only when the binary tree is either full or almost complete, right? So for the incomplete binary trees, there will be lot of wastage of memory. This is the disadvantage of the array representation for the binary trees. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us take one more example for the right skewed binary tree. Right skewed binary tree means we have discussion on this right skewed binary tree. What do you mean by right skewed?
Binary tree only right child are there, sir.
So it is a binary tree where we have right child for each and every node, no left childs, right? So if you consider this example, I have only 4 nodes here, right? And the nodes are denoted by A, B, C and D. But if I want to represent this right skewed binary tree using the arrays, I should give the node numbering for this right skewed binary tree. So the A is having the node number as 1 and B is having the node number as 3, C 7 and D is 15, right? You can observe here. And if you want to represent this using arrays, this is how I get. The 0th index is not considered. Why? Because the node number further root is going to be started with 1, right? So you forget about this 0th index, and this is first, and this is third index, and this is 7th, and this is 15. So total how many locations are there? What is the size of the array we have declared? It is 16, right? And what about the occupancy rate? How many elements we are storing inside this array that is having the size of 16?
4, sir.
Only
4,
4. Therefore 12 locations are being wasted. That means 12 into 4, 48 bytes of memory is wasted whenever you are going to store, or whenever you are going to represent the right skewed binary tree using the arrays, right? So can anybody tell me what could be the least size of the array that should be declared?
2
Don't-
power n plus 1, sir.
Don't consider it as
2 power height minus 1, sir.
it's not height, right? Never consider the height here. We should consider n, where n is the number of nodes, right?
2 power n plus 1, sir.
It is the maximum limit you are saying, but I am saying 2 power n is 2, whatever. What is that answer you have given?
2 power n plus 1.
2 power n plus 1 means here I am getting it as 17. Is it true?
2 power n, sir. 2 power n is 16.
Yeah. So here I have 4 nodes. So if I substitute the 4 inside this formula, I get it as 2 power 4 plus 1. This is 17. But this is not 17, right? This is the 16 sized array. So it is nothing but it is only 2 power n. That's it. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the maximum size of the array to represent a binary tree is, you will get it for the right skewed binary tree, and the size is equal to the maximum size of the array that you need to declare is 2 power n. What could be the minimum size for 4 nodes? Minimum size means don't consider this right skewed binary tree. Right skewed binary tree is to be considered only when we want to find the maximum size of the array, right? Why? Because it is extended towards its right hand side only, therefore it will get the maximum size. But when I want to find the minimum size of the array, you represent it in a full binary tree structure. It's not full, it's a complete binary tree, right? This is how I can represent. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir. Right.
Now tell me what is the minimum size of the array?
5, sir.
1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So it is 5. So how can you represent it with n?
N plus 1, sir.
Super, right? It is nothing but n plus 1. Therefore n plus 1 is the minimum size of the array, and 2 power n is the maximum size of the array, right? So if you consider another node, for example my n is 5, so what is the minimum size? I have to declare it for the array
6, sir.
6. Is it satisfying or not?
Yes, sir.
What is the
That's
maximum size? For example, I put like this, another node E. So what is the node number here?
31, sir.
Super, this is 31, right? So is it satisfying or not? 2 power n means it is 2 power 5, that is 32. Therefore the array size should be having the maximum of 32 locations. Anyhow we are not going to consider this, right? Is it clear up to this point?
Clear, sir.
clear, sir.
So now tell me what is the disadvantage of this array representation?
Lots of memory is wasted, sir. Level పెరిగిన కొద్దిగా వేస్ట్ అండ్ బ్లాక్స్ ఇంకా బాగా పెరిగిపోతాయి.
It's not the loss of memory, we should call it as
Unnecessary memory.
wastage of memory, right? Unnecessary wastage of memory if you are going to represent the incomplete binary trees using arrays, right? So if n node binary tree needs an array whose length is n plus 1 and 2 power n, right? So the minimum size is n plus 1 and the maximum size is 2 power n. So what is the name of the binary tree which wastes lot of memory when we represent it using arrays?
Skew binary tree.
Skew binary tree, sir.
Skewed binary tree. Okay, the answer is good only, but is it the left skewed binary tree or right skewed binary tree?
Right skew.
Right skewed, sir.
Right, sir.
For example,
Sir,
somebody says
ఏదైనా అదే మెమరీ కదా సార్.
anything, that means either the left skewed binary tree or the right skewed binary tree is going to waste the memory, right? So this is how we are going to represent the right skewed binary tree with 5 nodes. That means maximum is 32 elements. We have to represent, or we have to declare an array of size 32, right? But if you consider the left skewed binary tree, let me draw this. What is the root node number? 1. What is the node number for B? It is 2. What about this one?
2.
4, sir.
What is the left child of 2? It is nothing but 4. What is the left child of 4? It is 8. What is the left child of 8? It is
16 sir.
16. Right. Now tell me whether the left skewed binary tree is going to take the same number of locations as that of the right skewed binary tree, or it is taking less number of locations.
Less, sir.
Less, right?
Less, sir.
I think your doubt has been clear, right? So the maximum size will be allocated for the right skewed binary tree, and maximum wastage of locations or wastage of memory will happen in the right skewed binary tree only, but it is not the case with the left skewed binary tree, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
So right skewed binary tree wastes most space, and the what about left skewed binary tree? Just now we have discussed that left skewed binary tree is not going to waste that much space when compared to that of the right skewed binary trees, right? Most of the space is wasted in the right skewed binary tree representation only, right? If it is clear, we will move to the other representation.
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the linked representation of the binary tree. As I told that we are going to represent the binary tree using linked lists, right? So we know what linked lists are. We are going to allocate the memory for the linked list dynamically or statically?
Dynamically sir.
Dynamically. So in the dynamic memory allocation, is there any wastage of memory?
No sir.
No, sir.
No, right? Why? Because we are going to allocate how much amount of memory is required, that much memory only we are going to allocate. So there will not be any wastage of memory. So this is the most widely used representation for the binary tree. We are going to represent the binary tree using linked lists, and it is having the advantage that the memory is not being wasted. Why the memory is not wasted in the linked list representation means, since the linked lists are going to be allocated dynamically, and in the dynamic memory allocation we don't have the need to specify the size well in advance. Whatever requirements we have for the memory, that much amount of memory only we are going to take. So we don't have any wastage of memory in the linked list representation, right? So the most popular way to represent a binary tree, and the representation of this binary tree using linked list is very simple concept, right? For example, let me take a simple binary tree. Is it a binary tree or not?
Yes sir.
Yes,
Binary
sir.
tree sir.
So what we will do is we will represent each and every node in the tree with a node in the linked list like this, right? But as I told that a node in a linked list can be divided into any number of parts. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
It depends on our implementation. So if we are implementing the singly linked list, we are going to divide the node into two parts, where the first part is going to store the information and the second part is going to store the address of the next element, right? But here if you consider this node in the binary tree, the singly linked list representation is not sufficient. Why? Because the first thing I have to store here is the information part, and the second thing I have to store in this node is the address to the left child, and the next part we are going to store is the address of the right child, right? So information part, left child and right child. To accommodate these three values, we need to divide the node into three parts, right? So is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let us assume that a node is created. That means we are going to divide the node into three parts, similar to that of a doubly linked list representation, where you will be dividing the node into three parts. The middle part stores the information part, the left part stores the link to the previous node, and the right part stores the link to the next node. In the similar fashion, we are going to create a node which consists of three parts, where we are going to store the information part inside the node, that means in the second part. And remember that this is not mandatory that you always store the information part in the second location only. I can make use of this location, first part, as the information, and this represents the left child and this represents the right child. Nothing wrong in it. And similarly, somebody will come and say that, sir, I am not satisfied with this, I want to represent like this. The left part is left child and this is information part, and the right part is the right child. Accepted. Nothing wrong in it. Similarly, somebody will come and he will say that, sir, I will represent the left child in the left part and right child address in the middle part and the information part in the last location. Yes, it is accepted. Anything you can store, right? So that depends on how you are going to declare the structure. That's it, nothing more than that. So here we have the left child, and here we have the information part, and here we will store the address of the right child. And when you create a node, I know that I am going to create the node using the dynamic memory allocations, and I am going to use the functions such as malloc and calloc, and I know that malloc and calloc are going to return the base address. So what is the base address of this one? It is 100, right? And I am going to store the information A inside this one, and as it is created as the first node, I will represent the left child address as null and the right child address as null. And similarly, I want to create another node B. So that is done by using the dynamic memory allocation, and assume that the base address is 200 for this node, and I am storing the information part in the middle part, and this node should be attached as the left child of A. So what should I do? I should store the address of this node to the in the left child address part of A. So I am going to store like this. That's it. So when I store like this, I have a pointer pointing from A to B like this, right? Similarly, I create a node for C. Assume that the base address is 300. So where I should store? I have to place this C as the right child of A. So the right child address part should be modified to store the address of this C node. I store like this. When I store 300 inside A pointer is pointing to this location like this. And coming to creation of D, I create D, assume that it is created at 400, and here I have to store 400. And what is the left child of B?
Null, sir.
Null, sir.
Null, right? So this becomes null. And what is the left and right child of C? It is null and it is
Null, sir.
Similarly, D is having the left child as null and right child as null. So this is how you are going to represent the binary tree using linked list. Very simple concept, right? But the programming is somewhat difficult. Why? Because as we know that the linked list concept programming is somewhat tricky in nature. We have seen the complete program related to our singly linked list, right? So there lot of logic has to be applied in manipulating the pointers, in manipulating the addresses part. Remaining thing is very common. You create a node, you store the information part, but the third part is manipulating the addresses part will be a bit tricky, right? So this is how we are going to represent the binary tree using linked list. Is it clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
So each element in the binary tree is going to be represented using a node, and every node is divided into three parts, which has two link fields. One is the left child and another one is the right child, plus an element field, right? So let us go for one example which he has given. So this is the binary tree linked list representation for the binary tree. So A is having both the left and right child. The left child is B and the right child is C, right? So here the B is not having any right child. Similarly, C is not having any left child, and similarly D is having only the left child, and the D's right child is given the null address. Similarly, F is having the null addresses for its left child as well as the right child. Similarly, for E we don't have any right child, for G we don't have any left child, and for H we don't have any right as well as left child. So this is how we are going to represent the binary tree using linked list. Is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Right. So that completes the part, the concept related to representation of binary trees. So the summary of this particular topic is, we are going to represent the binary trees in two forms. The first one is the array representation, where you will be using the arrays concept to represent the binary trees, and the second one is the linked list representation, where you are going to use the linked list concepts, right? So in the array representation, we are going to use the concept of node numbering. So the node numbers represents the corresponding index number of the array. So whatever node number we have for the node, you are going to store it inside the corresponding index of the array. So the disadvantage of this array representation is, this particular representation is suitable only when the tree is complete or full or proper, right? But it is not suggestible to represent the binary tree using arrays if it is incomplete, or if it is a degenerate trees, or if it is a right skewed binary tree or left skewed binary tree. So in such cases, you have to go for the concept of linked list representation. So the only disadvantage with the array representation of the binary trees is, we may have lot of wastage of memory when we are representing the skewed binary trees or the incomplete binary trees using arrays. So to overcome this, we have come with another representation of binary tree, that is representation of binary tree using linked list, where you will be allocating the memory for this binary trees using dynamic memory allocation. And the advantage we have with the dynamic memory allocation is, we don't have any wastage of memory. As much memory we want, that memory only will be we are allocating, right? So the most commonly used representation for the binary trees is the linked list representation, right? So if you want to save the space, go for the binary tree representation, right? If you want to go for easy implementation, then you go for the array representation. Is it clear up to this point?
Clear, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So this completes our concept of binary tree representation.